Imagine waking up in the middle of the night with a sharp, twisting pain in your calf or foot, so intense it leaves you gasping for breath. Many seniors in their mid-70s and beyond are all too familiar with these sudden leg cramps that can disrupt not just a night's rest, but also the confidence to move about freely the next day. Perhaps you found yourself massaging your calf in the dark, wondering why this keeps happening and if there's any real way to stop it. If this sounds familiar, you're certainly not alone. Leg cramps are common in older adults, but what most people don't realize is just how much can be done to reduce their frequency, often in less time than you might think. It's easy to accept the idea that leg cramps are an unavoidable part of aging, but addressing them properly can make a world of difference in your overall quality of life. When these painful spasms strike, they can lead to a kind of nightly dread, anticipating that jolt of pain and the lost sleep that follows. And the impact doesn't stop there. Ongoing leg cramps can gradually erode your confidence in staying active during the day. You might avoid walks or skip your usual exercise class for fear of triggering another spasm. Over time, that fear can limit your independence, one of the very things most of us value deeply as we age. Yet there's good news. By understanding a few key lifestyle adjustments, you can often see significant improvement in less than a month. Think about the freedom to enjoy a restful night's sleep and wake up without the worry of another cramp. Picture feeling confident enough to take that morning stroll or join your friends for a light exercise session. Without that nagging thought in the back of your mind, what if I get another cramp? That's the transformation many older adults experience when they learn how to effectively manage and reverse frequent leg cramps. We'll explore 4 crucial strategies. First, we'll tackle the commonly overlooked relationship between hydration and leg health, clearing up the misconception that drinking less water is safer for older kidneys. Second, we'll look at how simple, targeted movements, far from causing cramps, can actually help keep them at bay. Third, we'll explore a nutritional approach that goes beyond just eat your vegetables, highlighting specific ways to support muscle function. Finally, we'll discuss how emotional well-being and relaxation techniques can contribute in powerful, unexpected ways to reducing cramp severity and frequency. I've had the opportunity to work with numerous older adults, guiding them towards small changes that brought big relief. While I'm not here to dispense personalized medical advice, my experience in senior wellness has shown me that consistent, science-informed steps can make all the difference in the world. Aches and pains may be a part of aging, but constant, disruptive leg cramps don't have to be your daily or nightly reality. So as you follow along, I encourage you to stay open to practical tips that might seem a bit contrary to what you've heard before. After all, sometimes the tried and true advice we've lived by for decades could be missing crucial nuances specific to our changing bodies. Take a moment right now to reflect. How many times have leg cramps interrupted your sleep or paused your activities this past month? Hold that number in your mind. If you're ready to see it go down, maybe even all the way to 0, let's begin. You might want to jot down any questions or personal experiences as we go along. Often, the smallest detail can spark a breakthrough. Now, let's dive into the first key strategy to help you reverse leg cramp frequency and reclaim your confidence in a matter of weeks. One of the most widespread beliefs among those over 75 is that we need far less water than we once did. Perhaps you've heard something like, "My doctor told me to watch my fluid intake because of my blood pressure," or "I don't want to overstress my kidneys." While it's true that certain medical conditions require careful fluid management, a blanket assumption that seniors should drastically reduce their water consumption can be misleading. In fact, many older adults unwittingly tip the balance too far and end up chronically underhydrated, one of the sneaky causes of frequent leg cramps. Let's look at a common misconception. I hardly sweat, so I must not need as much fluid. As we age, our sense of thirst can diminish, and our sweat response may change. Unfortunately, these factors can lull us into a routine of not drinking enough water or other healthy fluids. Here's a quick example. Sam is 78 and lives in a warmer climate. His kids constantly remind him to drink water, but Sam says he never feels thirsty and hates having to get up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. When Sam started experiencing nightly muscle spasms in his calves, he assumed he must have a deficiency of some sort. He tried vitamins, supplements, and even a hot water bottle at night, but the cramps persisted. When Sam finally mentioned his issue to a wellness coach at his local community center, they evaluated his fluid intake. Turns out, Sam was drinking less than 3 glasses of water a day. The solution wasn't just chugging more water before bed, but rather spreading out fluid intake throughout the day, mixing in electrolyte-rich beverages that had balanced amounts of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Within about 2 weeks, his midnight cramps began to subside. By the end of the month, the frequency had significantly dropped. The difference was so surprising that Sam couldn't believe hydration alone could help that much. But that's precisely the point. What seems trivial can be very impactful. There's also a key evidence-based insight. Mild dehydration increases the excitability of neuromuscular junctions, the sites where nerves meet muscles. A lack of sufficient fluid and electrolytes can trigger random, uncomfortable contractions, those dreaded cramps. By rehydrating and ensuring balanced electrolytes, you calm that overactive muscle response. Now, if you're concerned about needing to use the restroom more often, consider practical tips such as stopping significant fluid intake an hour or 2 before bedtime. Focus on sipping water steadily during the day. If plain water bores you, try infusing it with sliced cucumber or lemon. Herbal teas count too, as long as they don't contain excessive caffeine. The goal is to find a hydration rhythm that fits your medical profile and doesn't become a source of stress. The benefits are more than physical. Feeling well hydrated often boosts mental clarity and overall energy. You might notice your mood improving simply because your body isn't quietly struggling to manage fluid imbalances. Best of all, you'll likely see fewer nighttime disruptions from cramps, leading to better quality sleep, and that alone can dramatically improve your daily sense of well-being. Before we move on, think about how you currently manage your hydration. Do you keep track of how much you drink in a day? Have you ever tested different types of fluids to see which help you feel most balanced? These reflective questions can guide you in identifying where small changes might lead to big results. Another deeply ingrained idea many seniors hold is that resting more protects your muscles. After all, when you're worried about triggering a cramp, the last thing you might want to do is move around. Yet too much rest can be counterproductive. Contrary to the old take it easy mantra, gentle, consistent movement helps prevent cramps by keeping your muscles flexible and well oxygenated. If you rarely stretch or engage in light exercise, your muscles can become tight and prone to those sudden spasms. A typical misconception goes like this: if I stretch too much, I might pull a muscle. While caution is understandable, lack of activity often leads to shortened muscles and reduced circulation. Think of muscle fibers like elastic bands. If they're never stretched, they lose their elasticity and become prone to snapping into painful contractions. Consider the story of Joan, 76, who was reluctant to join any exercise group after a rough experience in her 60s. She had once pulled a hamstring trying to do a standing stretch and decided from then on that stretching is risky. When her leg cramps started a few years later, she blamed them on bad luck and age. Eventually, Joan was invited to a senior-friendly fitness class featuring seated stretches and slow, controlled movements. At first, she was skeptical, but with the support of a trained instructor, she discovered that stretches could be done safely in a chair, using gentle techniques tailored to her flexibility level. Within a month of doing these chair stretches 3 times a week, Joan felt a noticeable decrease in the frequency and severity of her leg cramps. She was stunned that something so simple could work so quickly. The science behind her improvement is straightforward. Gentle stretching increases blood flow, helps realign muscle fibers, and fosters better nerve-muscle communication. When muscles are regularly moved through a comfortable range of motion, they become less likely to seize up unexpectedly. Practical advice for seniors who are worried about injury: start low, go slow. Try simple routines such as calf stretches against a wall or light ankle rotations while seated. Even something as basic as gently pointing and flexing your toes can make a world of difference. And remember, movement isn't just about isolated exercises. Taking short walks, doing mild water aerobics, or practicing slow-paced Tai Chi can all keep muscles active without overwhelming them. Emotionally engaging and gentle movement carries a powerful benefit. It restores a sense of control. Feeling confident enough to do a bit of daily activity can be a morale booster. You realize that your body, although older, can adapt positively when given the right stimuli. This renewed confidence often translates into more consistent participation in group activities, which in turn fosters social connections. A wonderful side benefit that supports mental and emotional health as well. At this point, you might wonder if there's a risk of doing too much. Of course, always listen to your body's signals and check with a healthcare professional if you have severe mobility issues or chronic conditions. The key is finding a moderate, sustainable level of movement that keeps your muscles active without pushing you into discomfort. This is a great time to pause and reflect. How do you feel about exercising or stretching at this stage in your life? Are there gentle activities you could introduce into your routine without feeling overwhelmed or overworked? Jot down 1 or 2 ideas you'd like to try. Maybe it's a local silver sneakers class, a neighborly walking group, or even a simple stretch routine from a reputable online resource. Having examined hydration and movement, let's focus on the often misunderstood realm of nutrition. As we get older, our digestive system and nutritional needs shift. Unfortunately, many folks assume, I'm already eating healthy enough because they're sticking to old habits from decades ago. But the truth is, nutritional requirements can change significantly, especially when it comes to preventing frequent leg cramps. One big misconception here is, my regular multivitamin covers everything. While a balanced vitamin routine can be helpful, it's not a cure-all. For instance, muscle cramps can be closely linked to low levels of minerals like potassium, magnesium, and calcium. If your diet is lacking these nutrients, a generic 1-a-day tablet may not provide sufficient amounts to make a noticeable difference, especially if your body has a harder time absorbing nutrients due to age-related changes in the gut. Let's consider Andrew, 81. He prided himself on a simple daily diet: toast and jam in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, and a piece of meat with potatoes for dinner. He thought this routine was just fine because he ate only modest portions and believed it was balanced enough. Yet Andrew struggled with persistent nocturnal leg cramps. A friend mentioned the possibility that he was not getting enough magnesium. Intrigued, Andrew decided to track his meals more closely. He realized he rarely ate leafy greens or nuts, foods rich in magnesium, and seldom included potassium-rich items like bananas or avocados. After speaking with a dietitian, Andrew began incorporating a spinach salad at lunch, swapping his mid-afternoon cookie for a handful of almonds, and adding in half a banana with his breakfast. Within a couple of weeks, he noticed fewer cramps. By the end of a month, the nighttime interruptions that once plagued him were drastically reduced. What changed wasn't just the addition of a few foods, but the recognition that his aging body needed targeted nourishment to maintain proper muscle and nerve function. Scientific insight supports this. Electrolytes such as potassium, magnesium, and calcium are crucial for proper muscle contraction and relaxation. A deficiency in any one of these can predispose you to cramps, and while supplementation might help, it's often more effective and more enjoyable to get these nutrients from whole foods because they come bundled with fiber, antioxidants, and other supportive compounds. Practical advice: consider adding a small fruit salad or green smoothie to your breakfast routine. Mix nuts or seeds into yogurt. Experiment with beans, lentils, or sweet potatoes for dinner. If you're worried about cost, remember that frozen vegetables retain most of their nutrient value and are often more affordable. And before you try high-dose supplements, consult with your healthcare provider, particularly if you're on medications that might interact with certain minerals. The emotional benefit of adjusting your diet is sometimes overlooked. You're not just feeding your body, you're giving yourself peace of mind. Each bite of nutrient-rich food can serve as a comforting reminder that you are actively working to protect your muscle health. Moreover, feeling the tangible results, like fewer cramps, can be a real confidence booster, showing you that positive change is within your reach at any age. By now, you may be pondering whether your current diet is meeting your body's changing demands. It might help to keep a simple food journal for a few days, noting what and how much you eat, and then looking up the rough nutrient content. Small adjustments, repeated consistently, often yield surprisingly big dividends when it comes to reducing cramps and supporting overall health. So we've discussed hydration, movement, and nutrition. But there's a critical component many people forget: the role of stress, anxiety, and overall mental state. In our later years, it's easy to downplay stress, assuming that retirement or a slower pace of life means less to worry about. Yet seniors face unique emotional and psychological pressures. Managing health conditions, dealing with the loss of friends or a spouse, concerns about financial security, and more. These stressors can take a toll on your muscles too. One assumption might be, if I'm mostly at home, I'm not stressed. But stress isn't just about having a busy schedule. It can stem from loneliness, feeling undervalued, or uncertainty about the future. Emotional tension can manifest physically, leading to tighter muscles and a higher susceptibility to cramps. Take the example of Carolyn, who is 77. She had moved to an assisted living facility to be closer to her daughter. Though she no longer had to maintain a big house or commute for errands, Carolyn found herself anxious and a bit lonely in her new environment. At night, her thoughts would race. Would she adapt to this new lifestyle? Would she make friends? The muscle tension built up during the day often culminated in painful leg cramps after she lay down. A staff counselor suggested relaxation techniques, simple deep breathing exercises, brief mindfulness sessions before bed, and even soft music during the evenings to help Carolyn ease the transition into sleep. She also encouraged Carolyn to join a small group for painting activities, giving her a sense of belonging. In less than a month, Carolyn reported fewer cramps, better sleep, and a more relaxed demeanor overall. The science behind this is straightforward. Chronic stress activates your sympathetic nervous system, often described as the fight-or-flight response. This can keep muscles in a slightly contracted state. Over time, it doesn't take much for them to spasm into a full-blown cramp. By regularly engaging in relaxation practices like breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, or even gentle yoga, you help shift your nervous system into a calmer state, reducing muscle tension. If you're not sure where to start, consider dedicating just 5 minutes each evening to focused relaxation. Maybe you'll sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take slow, deep breaths, counting to 4 on the inhale and 4 on the exhale. Or you might find guided meditations online specifically designed for seniors dealing with sleep disturbances. The emotional benefit of such a routine goes beyond just reducing cramps. It can offer a sense of calm and control, reminding you that you have effective tools at your disposal to shape your well-being. Now think about one source of emotional tension you might be carrying. Could it be unresolved worries about family, finances, or your health? Identifying it is the first step toward releasing it. By pairing mental relaxation with the physical strategies we've discussed, hydration, movement, and nutrition, you create a comprehensive, holistic approach that can significantly reduce leg cramp frequency. Hanaitam. Let's take a moment to recap the core ideas and look ahead to how they can fit together in your daily life. You've learned how proper hydration is often the first line of defense against leg cramps, especially when balanced with essential electrolytes. You've also seen how gentle, consistent movement can maintain muscle elasticity, reducing the chance of sudden spasms. We explored how specific nutritional tweaks, focusing on potassium, magnesium, and calcium, help support your muscles from the inside out. Finally, we highlighted how emotional well-being and stress reduction play a surprisingly influential role in preventing cramps. These 4 strategies, when combined, can deliver a real transformation in as little as a few weeks. That doesn't mean you'll never have another leg cramp again. Aging bodies can be unpredictable, but it does mean you can drastically reduce the severity and frequency of those painful moments. The key is to integrate these ideas into your routine in a sustainable way. Rather than viewing them as drastic changes, treat them like small, manageable steps that accumulate into a bigger shift. Even if you start with just 2 of these strategies, say improving hydration and introducing a 5-minute nightly relaxation routine, you'll likely notice improvement within the month. There is a natural sense of urgency here, but it doesn't come from fear. It comes from the desire to reclaim your comfort and independence sooner rather than later. Every day spent dreading another cramp is a day you could be enjoying more restful sleep, more confident mobility, and better overall mood. Time is precious, especially at this stage of life, and small changes can yield meaningful results faster than you might think. Picture yourself a month from now, looking back on this moment. Maybe by then you'll have a simple daily checklist. Drink a glass of water upon waking, do a quick set of calf stretches before lunch, toss some spinach into your dinner, and end the day with a relaxing breathing exercise. Picture lying down to sleep without the knot of worry in your stomach that a cramp will snatch you from your slumber. Imagine waking up feeling more refreshed, with muscles that feel steady under your weight when you swing your legs out of bed. You have multiple ways to take action. If you're ready to move forward immediately, pick one of the strategies that resonates most with you and commit to it for the next week. Or if you want a more comprehensive approach, try combining 2 or 3 steps, such as improved hydration, a new stretch routine, and some dietary adjustments. For those who like to see measurable progress, consider using a journal to track how often you have cramps, what times of day they occur, and which strategies seem most effective. Lastly, if you want additional support, reach out to a healthcare professional or join a local senior wellness program. Sharing your journey with others often makes it easier and more enjoyable. Above all, remember this. You are not a passive observer in your own health story. Even if you've lived decades believing that aches, pains, and cramps are just part of the package, it's never too late to adopt new practices that can dramatically improve how you feel. You carry a wealth of experience and resilience within you. Trust that wisdom, follow these practical steps, and give your body the chance to respond in positive, often surprising ways. Here's to confidently standing and sleeping on your own 2 feet, free from the fear of those dreaded leg cramps. You've got this.